Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen. We are back for Game 3, the deciding match in this best of 3 matchup between Vega and Hehe. It's been very tense since we've got quite a lot at stake here, as the winner of this whole playoff season is going to become a Division 1 participant in the next round of the JDL, which is going to be Season 5, sponsored by MLG. It's going to be kind of big. It's going to be kind of big. Bigger prizes, bigger everything, and better games, hopefully. So, okay, we are here for Game 3. We had some weirdness happening in Game 2. I'm not entirely sure what happened with the last couple of picks in the draft, but it ended up being Broodmother for Hehe and Phoenix for Vega. So I apologize. It seems that my... because there's only 4 people on each team, the way the icons are arranged has moved a little bit, which is why the overlay looks a little bit weird up there where it says Vega Squadron. Just ignore that. So yes, anyway, we are back. It was a bit weird in the previous game, but we're here for Game 3, and I'm expecting we're going to be seeing some proper full-on deciding match Dota. Both teams have something to prove here. Both of them getting fairly decisive victories in their respective games. So let's have a quick look at the draft. Vega Squadron again banning out the IO. They've learnt their lesson from Game 1. You do not give IO to Hehe. It's just not a smart move, friends. And for themselves, picking up the Dazzle support again. They may be running a similar thing to last game. And the Tide Hunter. I think a smart ban for Hehe now would be that Tusk. Over on the Hehe side, we've got Legion Commander. That's a decent amount of heal, as well as some nice AoE damage if people are grouped up, which would be good at countering it if Vega chose to go for the same kind of troll build. And a Zeus, which is some nice magic damage, but I gotta say, with the Dazzle on the enemy team, the chances of getting a nice kill with that orb are certainly reduced. And those are 2 heroes as well who do struggle a little bit sometimes to stand up to Ravage. Hehe as well choosing to leave Troll in the pool. It's possible they were gonna kind of block pick him here. That wouldn't be a bad idea at all with a Legion Commander on the team, but they go for the AA instead, leaving themselves without a huge amount of CC, if I'm going to be honest. And another hero who can struggle a little bit to live through Tide Hunter. Visage coming out now for Vega. Great range harass in lane, and also a very tanky support. Couple that with Weave, and right clicks are going to do basically nothing to Visage during these team fights, unless Legion gets incredibly fed. Of course, there is a huge amount of magic nuke coming out from Hehe as well, so that may not be the biggest concern for them. I'm surprised neither team's gone for the Troll. It would work so well. Sorry, not the Troll, the Tusk. It worked so well for Vega Squadron last time. I think it would do very well for either team here. And it's just conspicuously absent. That's all I'll say. Conspicuously absent. The bans for the Vega Squadron, banning out the Skywrath Mage and the Silencer. The Skywrath Mage, to me, that's a hero you'd ban out if you were planning on going for the kind of Tusk snowball in. But either way, definitely a great counter to the kind of face rush they're hoping to dish out. And the Silencer really just gives them control of the team fights. It's great against a team of casters, or against a team who would be using abilities as much as Dazzle, Tide Hunter, Visage would. So a great ban from them. Whereas Hehe choosing to ban out Disruptor and Troll. Troll, interesting. Not seeing the huge kind of right-click combos that I would normally associate with a Troll ban. So not a terrible choice. And certainly would be able to dish out quite a lot of damage in any kind of face rush strat, but not the obvious choice to me. Even if you were looking for a kind of strong position 1, I'd be thinking more, with a Dazzle on the enemy team, you could be looking at even a Medusa, a Spectre. There's plenty of hard carries who don't get so much of their value from the benefit they give to other right-click carries, which to me would be the problem with the Troll pick. Disruptor, though, very powerful hero. Mentioned that before. I think had Vega managed to pick up the Disruptor instead of the Visage there, I would have been even more thinking that they've got a strong team here, because Tide Hunter, Ravage, followed up by Static Storm and Kinetic Shield is really hard to do something about. Just getting the impression I might be missing something in the chat here. Nope. Everything's still going. We've just got a lot of Hehe's bonus time being used up here. 9, 8, 7. This is getting really tense. I'm wondering what's going on. They go for the Axe pick. That'll give them some really nice tank. And a great amount of CC as well. Like, to me, the great thing about Berserker's Call is just how it forces the enemy to attack you at whatever range they're at. It's amazing. That kind of, especially giving you plus 40 armor at the same time so that you yourself don't take too much damage. It's one of the best stuns, or kind of quasi stuns, or whatever you want to call it. in the game, in my opinion. So, great pickup there. Also, there's going to be a huge amount of damage coming out from Visage plus minions, so that'll be a lot of chances for Counter Helix to proc. And possibly an aggro tri-lane, looking to just do huge nuke damage. AA Action's use, I kind of like it, with Legion Commander running either the solo safe or the mid. Not saying it's necessarily what they'll do, they've got options here, but that's kind of what I'd like to see. Axe AA's use. If it's Drow safe lanes, you would really struggle there, that's for sure. A Drow for the a Witch Doctor ban for Hehe again. They really like banning this Witch Doctor, and I gotta say I don't think it deserves quite this much respect.
5 seconds.
Anti-armor from Dazzle, anti-armor from Tidehunter. I can appreciate it would do a huge amount of damage, but Visage and Dazzle surely are going to be the two hard supports for that Vega Squadron team. We might be seeing something like a cool Visage. Has certainly been done, but not a huge part of the modern metagame. So it's a little bit tricky to see where the Witch Doctor would fit in there. I would certainly have preferred a different kind of ban. And down to 3 seconds reserve time and about 10 seconds of their core pick time left. With this fifth and final pick now for Hehe.
5 seconds.
What's it going to be, boys? What's it going to be? It's got to be good. Wow. Okay. Enigma. This is all or nothing time. And I got to say, I think this is probably a good plan. What Hehe are great at is coordinated attempts at team play. So that's why they excel with the IO. And I think chaining together the kind of crowd control they've got here is tricky. You've got AA, which is tricky. You've got Axe, which is tricky. You've got Black Hole, which, okay, it's not exactly hard to land, but you've got to be really careful about landing it because you don't want to waste it. And then Legion Commander's single target duel. Nothing too easy, but this is exactly what Hehe are great at. And if I had to judge based on the first 2 games, I would say they've got a good chance at a win here. Certainly, they've got, at this stage anyway, still waiting to see the last Vega Squadron pick, but they've got a nicer kind of spread of heroes here. Like, Vega Squadron are very much about getting that Tidehunter ult, going in, doing huge damage. They might well be able to get pickoffs before that with the Visage minions or the Drow Ranger nuke, but by no means a certainty. Whereas with Vega, they're pretty lethal whenever duel comes off cooldown, obviously, but even less than that. They've got huge, their average damage output is very, very high. So even just if they can land a good Berserker's Call and there's any teammates nearby, pretty much any on the Vega Squadron team should die. Possible exceptions, Tide, Visage, they're certainly tanky, but there's just so much magic nuke coming out from Vega. Oh, one other thing that springs to mind is that Drow Ranger is going to have a bit of trouble taking out a Legion Commander or an Axe, as both of those heroes do naturally build Blade Mail. And Blade Mail, one of those things that you really do not want to see as a Drow Ranger. Now, for anybody who's wondering what's going on here, we did say before that as both teams were missing a player, they'd do the draft and then do a quick AP remake. So hopefully this should be not very much time at all. I may have just missed the discussion as to exactly how long it's going to be. Oh no, there we go. Final team member in and we're ready to go. So thank you very much for your patience. And hope you enjoy the game. And I'll just take this opportunity as well to say if anybody does enjoy my cast, please do give me a follow or a subscribe. Helps me get into bigger tournaments, better Dota, better teams. My lifelong dream to cast Na'Vi has yet to be realized. So, we've got Go coming out from the Vega team. Just waiting for a go from Hehe. Shout out to Helga, by the way. Great admin. Always love him. Oh, just missed the... I almost had a co-caster there. Oh well. Oh well. Sorry, one moment. Just sorting out a co-caster for a future game, as I'm sure there'll be lots more coming in these playoffs. Teams grabbing up their heroes.
Drow Ranger.
Wind Ranger at your service.
And now we just got to wait for that annoying all-pick timer cooldown. I could put on the music, but that would be a little bit impersonal, so I'm not going to. Instead, we're going to put on the Wave CM draft. Yeah, there we go. Whoa! What is going on with that? With this here? What's that about? Don't normally have that. Didn't have that in the previous games, I don't think. And he's down here. What's going on? Gonna have to have another look at my orbs. That's just weird. Anyway, go away. We've got 13 seconds left, and we are hopefully very close to being ready to go. It's been a trial, hasn't it, friends? It's been a little bit of a tribulation as well, but we're in now finally for Game 3 of Hehe up against Vega, and we'll introduce Vega on the Dire first. So we have got Dazzle played by Seema the Slayer. We have got Tidehunter, going to be played by Bashu. We have got Windranger, going to be played by no one. Ha ha ha, not actually played by no one. Ha ha ha. And we have Visage, going to be played by RZQ. And finally Drow. Ooh, a solo safe lane Drow. Interesting. Going to be played by Undershock. Over on the Hehe side, we have got an Enigma, going to be played by Spoiler Alert. AA, going to be played by Spook. Zeus, going to be played by Hua there. Axe, heading down to the safe lane. Not sure what that lane is going to be yet. Going to be played by At the Speed of Life, sorry. And finally the off-lane Legion Commander with the Arcana set, going to be played by Yaren the Slayer. So, let's have a quick look at these lanes. We are... as Radiant notices a Visage in their jungle. I don't think Dire know quite how many Radiant heroes are here. I'm pretty sure that Radiant have a pretty good idea that Dire have all 5. Or at least 4. Request to stop chat. Ditto, if I'm honest. And we get into the game proper as we see, who's it going to be? Zeus on the mid. Defensive tri-lane probably with Enigma Semi in the jungle. And he managed to secure both runes for themselves, which is always great. Yaren the Slayer. I'm going to be interested in watching this lane. Legion offlane is something that I know a little bit about, but not enough about. So having that information is always good up in the old noggin. Not even attempting to get a bit of a creep block off here, though, which I find a little bit strange. Was actually in a position to at least block most of the creeps. And it seems like, if I'm watching my minimap correctly, that Legion Commander might be the first target here. Vega want to be going for the early kills. It's either that, or we've got Dazzle here with his high damage looking for an early courier kill as it brings out the bottle, and it looks like he's going to get it. 1, 2, and that's Radiant's courier down. That's huge. No bottle now for the Zeus, and no mana either for the next 2 minutes. And that could be exactly the kind of start that Vega need to just dominate this game. Oof, it's going to be tricky. Not entirely sure how they make up for that. Spoiler alert, also losing his... Oh no, oh I thought... Oh, he just avoids losing the clarity there to the Centaur Stomp. But ends up losing it to a little bit of mini Centaur harass, because he wasn't counting on the Idoloons not being able to right-click for that period. I've got to say, Hehe not getting a great start here, and losing first blood up on top, as Drow finishes off Legion Commander. Wow, this is not what Hehe want, not at all. Vega making a very nice showing. A little bit of random Vega trivia. They've played Goomba 2 times, for anyone familiar with Goomba gaming, and won both times. No one getting some harass down on HWA. HWA finding it very difficult to do anything, really. Even the right-click harass from this Windranger is doing decent damage to him, let alone the power shot, which could pretty much kill him. Enigma getting a decent start in the jungle, though, despite that, despite constantly losing clarities. That's really going to slow him down. I don't... Yeah, that's really bad. Really bad. And the Idoloons he's got are just getting nuked down almost instantly by these creep camps. He's going to just get himself killed here and TP straight back to lane. Seems that we've got no one looking for a snipe on this Zeus. Got an Invis rune. I'm wondering how exactly they're going to be looking to do this, as we do have Enigma TPing in as well at pretty much the same point. Oh! Spots are out under the tower. Thank you very much for that detection. HWA though knows that just means he's still got to be kind of careful. But his bottle will be out again, in about 20 seconds. So no huge problem for him. Meanwhile, it's not all bad for Hehe. Axe leading the last hits chart down against his Tidehunter. Interesting matchup. Very interesting matchup. I gotta say, I think I hand that to Axe just in terms of raw damage output. Certainly when the side's going to have to start being really careful or look at wasting the Ravage. And Ravage should really be, to me, something that... It's an interesting question. Chronosphere to me is always something that you should use to get kills. But Ravage to me is something you should always use in the team fight. I don't know why. For another time. Maybe a game when both of those heroes are actually in here. And Droud getting another kill on Legion Commander up on top.
But first, you have to earn.
This is a deadly tri-lane for a solo offlaner without an easy escape. You need maybe a leap, you need a invis, you need something to get you away from these guys because they will slow you, and at that point no amount of just healing is gonna be enough. As well as the fact that they're also all ranged, so there's not going to be any help from Moment of Courage. Not that it's the I think the core build at the moment anyway. And HWA has had a bottle. Hooray! I think he just was forced into a bit of bottle crowing by the realization that he's not going to be able to get rune control up against this Wind Ranger. Drawing the creep wave back past 0 and 3. This is certainly not where he wanted to be. And Axe going to be able to nip bottom and pick up that rune. And this lane ward, to be honest, is probably the biggest thing that's giving the... oh, the courier again looking to be sniped by this Wind Ranger. It's being kept safe though. And she's heading back up to lane. Picks up a couple of items from the courier. Basic standard stat items coming out next. We'll be seeing... I'd like to see phase boots in all honesty coming out next on this Wind Ranger. And then building hopefully into a damage item. Down here on the bot lane, Yaren the Slayer could be looking to pick up some farm actually, or at least some XP from that stack if she can get a couple of side pulls off. Not the easiest thing to do with a giant lane ward there though. Very good at revealing your weaknesses. Very, very good. XP graph going in favor of Hehe. Gold graph going in favor of Vega. So it's not all bad news for either team. Both of them have a shot at getting forward. And Speed of Life going in really far this time. Does actually miss the Berserker's Call, so Cold Feet not going to be able to proc. And Bashu able to just walk back in here. Speed of Life actually being brought lower. Is going to give them some quite nice space to push his tower down though. Going in for another call. Going to catch this one. Oh, he's got to save it now for when the Visage arrives. Or can just draw them out past the tower. But now this Visage has come down. There's huge physical damage resistance with the armor buff. Gets the dunk. Soaked up that soul assumption. And from that point on, all Tide or Visage could do was right click. And with the 40 armor bonus from Berserker's Call, those right clicks were just not going to do anything. It's effectively physical immunity for the duration. At least in the early game, unless you're talking about some major damage. 40 armor is a big, big reduction. Tide coming straight back in. Will be having Ravage up very, very soon. I think his positioning in the previous fight was based on the fact that had he got one more last hit in his vicinity or something, he would have had Ravage, could popped it. Big rotations in, would have been a great set of kills. Unfortunately, didn't happen quite like that. Did put Hehe on the board at 1-3. Let's have a quick look here. The gold graph is generally less sensitive to change than the XP graph, so it didn't do a huge amount for Hehe's lead. They're still ahead. In fact, the rotation meant that they were just keeping even. But on the gold, did manage to get back a fair amount of their previous disadvantage. Meanwhile, up on top, I might actually catch this one. Yes, I will. Yaren the Slayer going to be brought down for a third time by the Vega team. And honestly, this is the only lane that Hehe are losing to any terrible degree. Oh! As Zeus gets taken down mid. I was going to say, Zeus is having a bit of a tough time, but that's fine. But then he dies. So okay, they're losing mid and they're losing the top lane. And I really don't see how it's going to get any better for Legion Commander without major rotations. Like, what does she do? Does she not farm? That's not an option. But if she goes anywhere close to farm, well, there's going to be Drow Harass, there's going to be a slow from the Dazzle. If AA's around, that'll be a huge magic nuke as well, and it's not going to be enough. Oh, but no one being brought low on the mid, but not enough magic damage. But there is coming out from the Zeus. Oh, that must have been so satisfying. You can just see the smile on Hua's face. Just picture it in your minds, friends. and 3 to 5 is a lot healthier than 1 to 3. Yeah, this is much better for Hehe. Again, ahead on XP, now ahead on gold as well. They've really got this game back under control. They're not ahead yet, I wouldn't have said, not to any significant degree, but certainly the kill lead that Vega had brought up has been diminished, and Vega's lead has been offset by the fact that Hehe have been getting their kills later in the game, so they've been worth more XP and gold. Oh, and Zeus now picking up a regen rune. He's going to be able to go a little bit nuts with this. It's just a question of what lane he chooses to go nuts on, and with his ult up again, he might even try and take out this Wind Ranger as soon as she gets back to lane. Seema the Slayer is currently there to back her up, and that would be a that would upset their plans quite a lot. Gonna need to wait until Dazzle either rotates out, as he has now done. Oh, but we do have Tide rotating in at the self-same time, leaving Axe free farm down on the bot lane. This is always the downside of having, you know, sometimes you have offlaners and you say, oh, well, they can offlane great because they can stack Ancients and farm them. Beastmaster used to be a big one in that category. Tide's the other one. You get the similar thing on the mid sometimes with heroes like Old Tinker or Conquer or something like that, or Shadow Fiend. Problem is, for every moment you're getting out a lane, you might be getting as much farm as you would. You might even be getting more farm than you would, but your opponent is also getting more farm than they would. They haven't got you as a deterrent there anymore, and I'm sorry if I'm being obvious, but I see it happen so often. RZQ being gone on up on top, and this will be a dual damage for Yaren the Slayer. 4 to 5 now. Hehe looking comfortable. And one thing about Hehe is they are very ult dependent. If you think about the signature moves of all of these heroes, it's always about the ult. I've been saying how much I love Berserker's Call, but Dunk is Axe's signature move. You've got Duel on the Legion, the AA ult flying across the map, a Black Hole, and then the Zeus Global. So right about now, when everybody should have their level 6, let's just quickly make sure that is true. AA does not, Visage does not, and Dazzle does not. So in fact, Hehe have their experience a bit more evenly spread here. But this is exactly the kind of game time of the game that Hehe like. Ult online, Culling Blade ready, Duel ready. Only question is, when does Legion get her blink? It's been slowed down a little bit. Put it in perspective, this stage of the previous game, the offlane Tide for Vega had mana boots, and I think had his blink up by now as well. Certainly, he was at this stage at about 6 or 7 minutes. So Legion has had a very tough time. No mana boots, no blink dagger. Oh, and looks like we're going to have some action going on mid. We do get a nice shackle shot, which does manage to latch for the full duration on spoiler alert. Not even going to take tower harass though, with the Eidolons there to soak it up. Midnight Pulse possibly going to damage some heroes, but not going to do a huge amount down to the creep wave. So this is still pretty much full die creep wave. Going to push off this Radiant Harass. But up on top lane, it's Rao. She's trying to get out. They get a duel. Culling Blade is used a bit early, so they're not going to get that. Legion gets hit by Gush. There's another Berserker's Call though. And they do choose to use the Ravage. They don't catch Yaren. And I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here. Oh, they do have the support they maybe need to kill at the speed of life, but he's popping a TP. Doesn't get it off in time. It was very, very close though. Very, very close. And well done by Axe for realizing that the stuns had been used by that stage, and there was at least an option to go for a TP.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Dire's middle tower gonna be deniable. So, oh, and the creep wave dies exactly as that happens. So not the creep wave, the Eidolon wave. Now, this is something. Maybe someone can explain this to me, but to me this is one of the strangest things about Pro Dota at the kind of joint Dota kind of level. I'm not necessarily talking about TI5, but teams, even big teams, even teams that you've all heard of, often seem to not be paying attention or be very aware of the possibility of towers and the need to deny them. They are going to get this one denied. Vega rotate back in and spot it out, but it just seems that, I don't know, if you were sending a wave of Enigma Illusions up, Eidolons, and you knew that they were low. Oh, big damage. AA ult misses. Not going to be enough. But no one being chased out of mid there. So yeah, you see these big teams, and they're playing, and it's just they get the tower to below deniable, for example, like the Enigma played there. Spoiler alert, has been doing great. Loved his IO in the first game. But there, sends a wave of Eidolons up. They right-click the tower. He knows it's incredibly low, and ends up getting it low enough to not killing it. At the speed of life, finished off up top by some slightly over-aggressive axe play. And this Undershock is beginning to develop some pretty scary tendencies, and her damage is going to be going down to the Wind Ranger as well, of course. It's an extra 37 damage for Wind Ranger now, and when you put that on top of Focus Fire, that's kind of terrifying. Kind of terrifying, greatly offsetting the damage reduction that you normally see as the downside for that ability. And Yaren the Slayer is in trouble again. We've got Drow looking to dive under the tower. Seema the Slayer giving support from the other side, but it seems like Drow wasn't aware that we had them coming in. Axe has rotated in. Get the call, get the call, get the call. Call! Gets it. And dunk. Meanwhile, over in the Radiant jungle, there are pings coming out. I think AA wants to go for this. I'm not entirely sure how or what the plan is. Doesn't quite proc the cold feet. It's close though. No one does take a huge amount of damage. But really don't think they're going to be able to secure a kill there. Seeing the Slayer looking to rotate into the Radiant jungle, playing very, very aggressive for an early game support. But that seems to be the way Vega are playing this game. If you have a look at their warding, they do not have a single ward on either rune, but 2 wards deep inside enemy territory. And that's at 14 minutes with no towers down. So they are looking to be scouting out, going in deep, and generally just making nuisances of themselves. Yaren Slayer goes in, gets a duel. Tide still eating up the Ancient Harash as well. And with the Zeus ult, it's enough. I thought they weren't going to quite make that. An Axe coming in to finish off Tide's stack. That is really going to hurt. Up on the top lane, spoiler alert, being brought really low by Undershock. Not even sure what he's doing so high up by himself. No one does eat up the AA ult. We got 4 dire heroes up here, so no big plays for the Radiant coming along now. And Hehe have lost their kill lead. Let's have a quick look at the XP and gold again. Well, XP, they were on a loss, bringing it back a little bit now. Still got a bit of a lead on the gold. And I'd say overall their progress in the game has been doing better and better. But certainly now it's beginning to pivot the way of Vega, and they need to pull themselves together again a little bit. Drow leading on last hits, also leading on net worth. And here comes Focus Fire, Shackle, the right clicks, but the blink is going to see Legion Commander safe. And now we have TPs coming in. Zeus, we've got Enigma as well, waiting, just waiting for that beautiful blink black hole. Of course, he'll need a blink dagger for that, but it'll come, friends. It'll come. And honestly, I really think that should be one of Vega's kind of key objectives at this point. Start taking tier 1 towers before Enigma gets his blink, because Enigma with blink is great tower defense. It makes it really, really hard to group up on a tower and push it down. Oh dear. Smoke. Spotted out. Tide being brought really, really low. And the Culling Blade, Berserker's Call, before he gets a chance to get off Ravage. This could spell the difference here for Dire. They do manage to finish off the Enigma before Black Hole goes down. But the Zeus ult pops out. Seema the Slayer finished off by the duel. And then the Drow on the back lines. And that means it has to be a retreat. Visage finished off as well. The Bird's trying to do some damage to Yaren. Loses one of those Visage familiars. And great fight there for Hehe. They do have to go 2 for 4, but it's the initiators who died. That's part of their job in a way. Would have been better if it was Zeus and AA, but certainly worth it for the the kills they just got on Dire. And this will be a tower last hit for Yaren as well. And then he should get back to base. Spook possibly being looked at by Bashu here. One thing to always remember is if you manage to kill the Tide before he gets off Ravage, that's amazing, and like that you might well turn around a team fight by doing it. But the downside is as soon as Tide comes back, you can guarantee he's still got Ravage and now he's angry. So they were certainly right. They're certainly right to not just go charging into this bot tier 1. You need to put a little bit of a holder on that, wait for another opportunity. Enigma, of course, doesn't apply to Enigma. He's a split pusher. He can just go in and just get some attrition damage down on this tower. We do have an initiation on mid. Looks like they're going on the Wind Ranger, but with Wind Run popped, Yaren the Slayer not able to do damage during duel, and then the rotations in from the Dire team going to finish him off. Is the distraction going to be enough to take this bottom tower, though? That is the question. We've got a TP coming in, but it looks like Dire also want to be attempting this Roshan. This is a very strange example of mixed priorities here. They are spotted out. Oh wow, Zeus! HWA does manage to pop his ult, but they need the Enigma Black Hole. They need it so badly. Roshan still up, under shock. There he is. And that puts that fight definitely in Hehe's favour as Axe comes around the backside as well and manages to get a dunk on RZQ. Quick ping on the Roche, who's been brought down to less than half health by the Dire attempt. It was very, very messy though, rotating the Wind Ranger into bottom. They knew the tower was going down, so it was effectively just a rotation to get a deny. Oh, that was a very strange example of Dota there. And even without the black hole, which is still off cooldown, Hehe able to take the fight. And that's now Aegis for Yara the Slayer, who can be even more just ballsy, really, with her initiations. Blink picked up as well. Enigma going for the BKB first. Not sure I agree with that decision when you've got an Axe and a Legion Commander on the team, because they are going to be leading the fight. I suppose the thought they're having is that Axe Call is what's kind of going to keep the enemy heroes grouped up, and Enigma can then just walk in and drop the black hole. I don't like it though. I don't really like it. If Enigma had Blink, with the way Vega are having to group up sometimes, I really think they might be able to get some really nice 5-man black holes. And Legion does get a duel, but now in real danger as the entire Dire team is rotating up. The Aegis is popped, and here are her Radiant allies. There's not going to be any die once, die twice here for Legion. She's back in, blinks out. Not able to follow up though. So effectively a Drow kill in exchange for an Aegis, and Hehe also managed to get some dual damage for Yaren as well. 54 now, and that's not off too many kills either. That's kind of nuts, in fact. Axe has got some of the kills which were nonetheless win duels for Legion Commander. At the speed of life, popping core just to get the armor bonus here. He knows those familiars are going to be up soon, and the global combo of AA and Zeus doing so much damage to this Dire team. They're all forced to retreat on very low health. If Zeus had his refresher at this point, that would be a team wipe minus the Drow, who was already dead, so that doesn't count. Excellent, excellent play.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
And the mid tier 2 goes down. Hehe now, it seems, looking to rotate straight down to bot and do the same trick there. They do have the creep wave very nicely pushed out. 3 of the heroes do seem to be looking to just phase out the Dire heroes on mid a bit, keep them interested, make sure they don't just all rotate en masse down to bottom. With Ravage up, it's really, this next team fight could well be a question of what goes off more effectively, Ravage or Black Hole. Whichever one it is, even with the lead that Hehe have right now, whichever one of those gets off better could well win the fight. And we are seeing defensive rotation coming out from Vega. They did have Dust as well, and we've got Tide getting in. There's going to be a good position for a Ravage, but he doesn't get it off. Call is really just nuking down this Void. At the speed of life, does not have Culling Blade off cooldown, so can't finish off the Dazzle, even though it does go through Shallow Grave. Only ability in the game. Call misses on no one. That would have been a kill on the Wind Ranger if they'd got it. Meanwhile, Hua chasing down RZQ and Seema the Slayer over to the mid lane. They're going to get away, I think. No! Manages to get a kill on RZQ. And in the meantime, that push was successful. Radiant Creep Wave has got up to the Dire tier 2 bot, and are going to be pushing that down without too much trouble. Feeling confident as well, as they've already rotated Spook up to the top lane to start pushing out that wave as well. And we're going to see Wind Ranger rotating up here to try and save this last tier 2 from what so far has just been tower after tower after tower for Hehe. Windrun popped. Oh! Juked! Juked! She thought he'd run away, but Spook was too brave. Yeah, haha is right. Was that all chat? Oh, maybe not. Just very nice juke and a very well-timed ha 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 from Axe. Spook now launches his ult up at the Wind Ranger, who was just trying to kill him. Probably not going to land. Oh, does land. I'm kind of surprised. And there's a blink. There's a duel. There's no wind run this time, but we do have double stomp from Familiars and a rotation in from Tide. He gets off Gush. But so far, Radiant are rotating in just as fast as Dire are. In fact, this might be a great black hole. No, chooses not to go for it. Wants to catch it out on the course. Dazzle and Dazzling Visage not good enough, especially with Tide nearby, to pop off a Ravage. So far off his blink, he's been forced to go for a 4-stuff. And not a bad plan, actually. Given where Vega are right now, I think going for the 4-stuff, the kind of budget alternative, which can be kind of good, I guess, is a good call. Random blink there from at the speed of life. And now they're rotating on this top tower with full force.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Bad news for you fans of Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
These don't get caught up by the goddamn Visage familiars. Come on, guys. That's just distractions. Drow getting the tower on bot in the meantime. Come on, be serious. And this top tier 2 is just going to get absolutely nuked down.
Dire's top tower is under
We do still have a ranged creep, so no backdoor protection as of yet. And these Idoloons as well. Oh, the range creep is dead. Quick! There you go.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
We're still a 2-for-1 trade. 2 tier 1s taken by Dire. Radiant managing to take out this 1 tier 2 top.
Radiant's bottom tower is being
And they're not going to try and push high ground. I think that's probably a wise call. They can go down, they can try and defend this bot tier 2. Make sure that Undershock doesn't get that tower gold. Push her even further ahead. And then maybe look at a Roche before pushing the high ground. That would be my my ideal play. Zeus getting caught out way far ahead here. Probably should have been maybe like miles back would have been good. Yeah, that would have been good. Enigma getting some cheeky farm out of the Dire jungle before he leaves. Cheeky cheeky. He's gonna get it. Forcing out the Dire heroes to play a little bit more cautiously. And in the meantime, Yaren the Slayer can just easily farm up the bot lane. And Blink is up on the Enigma at the same time as well. I have yet to see the black hole to end all black holes, which is going to make this match really stand out. I'm just waiting for it. I'm so sad it hasn't happened yet. I'm always wondering whether Spoiler Alert should wait to level 16, given that he's basically at 15, rather than have Hehe try and force anything yet. But oh, I really want to see a nice Blink black hole combo. Yaren the Slayer spotted out by this Observer Ward, but it's just too far away. Just for Vega to really be able to contest it. Tide scouting out Roche. Still going to be another 1 to 4 minutes on the Roche timer. Meanwhile, Hehe, the rest of the Hehe team, looking to group up on the mid lane right now. Now, most of the Dire heroes are messing around on bot lane. There is a chance possibly here for either a pick-off or a decent bit of tower damage. I wouldn't be looking for racks, I wouldn't even necessarily be looking for a tower, but he have definitely got an opportunity here to get some of those tower HP points taken away.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Nope, not going to commit. What you doing then, guys? What's the plan? Drow's farming? None of you guys are farming very well. Excuse me. Drow getting right down onto bot tower now. Only gets 2 right clicks off, but those right clicks are doing a huge amount of damage. Yaren the Slayer rotates down to scare her off. Meanwhile, we've got Spook playing with the oh no! And spoiler alert, caught out too close. I don't know what they were doing near this tier 3 if they weren't planning on fighting it. But here we go. This is a bit of an example. We do see Axe go in and a team wipe, forcing the buyback from Wind Ranger. If you could do that, why didn't you do it an age ago? Not sure what Hehe were doing there. The actual play, the actual team fight was absolutely amazing. Let's have a quick look at the damage dealt there from Hehe. Just huge from Axe, huge from AA, huge from Zeus. It was entirely a combo fight. But I don't know why they had 4 heroes messing around just down there on the low ground by the tier 3, doing nothing for ages. Enigma gets picked off, and then they choose to go in for a fight. Up until that point, they were kind of just letting Vega farm the map better for a while, and I don't like it when that happens. Big AA blast goes up, does hit no one, who's going to be forced probably to back up right to the fountain pretty soon. We do have quite a lot of the Dire heroes up already though, so it looks like there's not going to be a huge amount achieved other than pushing Hehe even slightly further ahead. Let's have a look how that last team fight affected the yeah, I think it was around here, quite a big jump, probably about 2,500 gold, sorry, XP and about the same in gold. Very, very handy little fight there for them. And it might be have a time to have a quick look at any core items that are coming out now. Roshan up again in about a minute. I expect that will probably be the next big fight that we see. So Enigma's basically just got all of the essential tools for being an Enigma. AA's got all of the essential tools for being an AA. So they're ready now to just basically try and make plays. Oh! And we have a smoke gang which catches Zeus. Drow getting huge damage and slows down. And was that a suicide? It was! Bloodstone suicide on the Zeus. Well played. And that's a smoke and a whole bunch of time wasted now for Vega. Interestingly though, they still are trying to be aggressive. The only thing still smoked are the familiars. A bit of a strange choice, and they are just going to back out now. Meanwhile, over on the mid, looks like Windranger might be in trouble. Spoiler alert. Yeah, spoiler alert, duel and all the rest of it. 5,924 victories on Yaren the Slayer. That's pretty huge. Meanwhile, initiation goes down onto the Visage. I'm sorry, these kills are just going left, right and centre, and I was busy looking at pretty Legion Commander. We do have Dazzle pushing down the bot lane there, but it looks like Vega are not going to attempt to contest this Roshan, as Drow and Tide just head back to mid lane to push back the creep wave a little bit. And Seema the Slayer, it looks like, is just beginning to pick up on the idea that, yeah, they're probably in Rosh. Commit to the tower, you bastard! You stupid Dazzle! Commit to the tower! Get the tower! Kill it! Get the last hit! Oh my gosh! Going nuts here. It is taking them quite a long time to get this Roshan. You really could have got... whatever. TP's back home. TP's back home. Roshan goes down. Legion Commander unsurprisingly picking up the Aegis. And they'll be looking to do the same thing they did last time. Just rotate in. Force a team fight with Core. Land the global ults on top of it, and anybody who's left, that's when you can start thinking about landing your black holes and your duels. Now the Drow as well is up on top lane, pushing it out, getting farm, which is half of what you want to do as Drow, but not if it means you're going to miss team fights, which are going to cost your team even a significant amount of tower damage, in my opinion. Bit of lag spike there, but looks like we're back in. Oh, and the blink goes down. We've got the duel going down on Seamless Slayer. There's not going to be any heals coming out for the Dire team. On top of that, the Aegis is only popped. So we still have a Legion Commander here, ready to help out at the speed of life, getting nuked down by this Drow, and there's the Ravage as well. Yaren the Slayer seems very, very cautious for a guy with an Aegis. Just does not seem to want to go in. One was waiting for the blink, and they do manage to get a beautiful blink. Black hole from Enigma as well, and this is what I was talking about. Jewel, I'm assuming, went down there. Tide does buy back. Heal goes down on HWA, saves him given the gush damage coming out from Bashu off that buyback. Also makes that buyback effectively worthless. Well, maybe it's a contributing factor to fighting Radiant off the tier 3 here. Kind of surprised they're not choosing to try and just get a few more right clicks on this tower though. They've still got 40 seconds without Drow, 30 seconds without Windranger, and those are the only right clickers on the Dire team. Ravage is down. Push, you bastards! Never mind, it's fine. I'll survive. Over on the top lane, looks like we've got Zeus rotating in. Looks like he wants to just be grabbing some farm. Still an age before the next Roshan comes up, and it's just I don't know, that Hehe are taking fights which just push them a little bit further ahead, a little bit further ahead, a little bit further ahead, and they're doing it very, very well, but they're not taking objectives, and that's leaving them open to the potential that if Vega do manage to turn one of these fights around with a nice Ravage and then let Drow just right-click to her heart's content, then he could find himself suddenly losing the first racks of the game or something. It's not... they're still doing great. I'm not exactly worried. I think they'll win the game, probably, but they're still open for that. It's not eliminated yet as a possibility. And it could have been. It genuinely could have been. If every time they got up to that tier 3 tower, they'd been putting in just half again as much damage. Something like that. Just right-clicking it for a little bit longer. Taking just a little bit more risky plays. Then the tier 3 would be down by now. At the least. And they'd be sieging racks. Spoiler alert, catches RZQ in the jungle, but no one rotating in, along with Seema the Slayer and Undershock. So, gotta be pretty glad that they got out of that. Spoiler alert. just dodging a very large, very pointy bullet. 2,000 gold sitting on him as well. It's kind of difficult to know what you go now next as Enigma. I'm supposing the mech or the soul ring is the next thing to go. Maybe a refresher orb could be in the offing, although yeah, the mana pool would probably support it. And double black hole, not something to sniff at. And it looks like Radiant are trying to force Vega to commit to either mid or top lane, rotating the heroes, or at least making a presence on both lanes, so that it's that much harder for Titan to get a nice 5-man initiation. And we do have Legion leading the way again here. Shallow Grave has gone in though. There's the Axe Culling Blade to finish it off, but they did lose Legion. The Zeus ult pops down, but there's Ravage. Spoiler alert, in place for a... Oh no, he's silenced, and still 13 seconds on the Black Hole cooldown. Given that, Legion would have been better to wait. Losing Legion and Axe in exchange for Dazzle and Windrunner is not the kind of trade he'd want to be making. Even if they did force out the Ravage, they're now not in a position where they can really capitalize on that. I suppose they could if everything went well and they got Zeus ult on top of Black Hole, which is now off cooldown. But it would be a bit of a risk with an ability like Black Hole. That Arc Lightning, not popping smoke. RZQ and Tidehunter, Bashu are the defensive squadron here. And there is a possibility of a blink Black Hole. But spoiler alert wants to be sure. He wants to be certain.
Dire's middle tower is under siege.
He wants to catch all 5, I think, as well. He's actually got, basically, large numbers of the Dire team here. Obviously, it would be a terrible idea to go in without his team there in support. But, oh, what a grouping. Oh, and here we go. All 5 of the Dire heroes drops Midnight Pulse to destroy the trees at exactly the wrong time. BKB pops Black Hole on 2. It's not really the 2 they want. They don't really have the team support they need either. It's wasted, friends. It's wasted. I could have told them that was going to happen. HWA is going to get nuked down as well. And finally chasing on Spook. He's popping a TP. He makes it out. He's going to be stunned by the final ticking off of the Dazzle Slow, but he's already made it back to base. Yara and the Slayer now rotating back down to bot lane. That was an insane time for the Black Hole. It's the tension of playing Enigma. It's the difficulty of saying to yourself, alright, my ult is the most important thing in the game that can happen anywhere, anytime, at all. Now use it responsibly. That's not an easy thing to do. Legion Commander now rotating into bot lane, just farming this all up. Meanwhile on mid we've got Spook farming up a couple of lanes there, and Enigma will be back up very, very shortly. If you're going to be playing like that, mate, definitely get the refresher orb. That's all I'm going to say. Bashu's looking to get an initiation here as well. Does have Ravage up, and I almost think it might be worth it if they could take out the AA and the Zeus. But doesn't quite have the vision to be sure of it. Enigma farming the jungle, and both teams, I think, kind of cautious. Hehe realizing that they can't count Vega out of the game just yet. And Vega, having been hemmed up for the last 10 minutes of the game, really, are not going to be stupid and just rush out. They're going to play it a little bit safe. Of course, the downside for this is it makes it even harder for them to secure their farm, although Drow is doing a great job at catching up with the massive Hehe lead at 15,000. 15,000 on the net worth. Not that far behind the Zeus, ahead of the Legion Commander in the Axe. It's the rest of her team which are a little bit concerning at about 10,000 each. I mean, AA is really the only hero on Hehe who hasn't got a huge amount of farm, and he's already got Axe and Ghost Scepter, so he doesn't really need much else. The only danger they're going to have is it's easier to play a late game Drow than a late game Legion, because Legion, you've got to get the blink right, you've got to get in close. That said, if Legion can get in close, it definitely has the advantage over Drow. So taking it late game is still a bit of a risk for Hehe. They're putting it down on being able to shut down that Drow. And pretty much the rest of the Vega team you can just translate as they're there to try and make it so that Drow can stay alive and do her thing. Also, the split pushing familiars doing a great job down on the bot lane. Actually going to be doing a decent amount of tower damage now to the tier 3. And I bet Hehe are regretting not getting more damage on the tier 3 now. AA ult is going to fly down and pop. Does a decent amount of damage to the creep wave, but there's another one to come in and replace it, and still 3 Visage Familiars just healing up over there now. But yeah, the Vega players...
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
The Vega players, sorry, are all caught up on their high ground, not able to farm effectively, and really just looking for pickoffs. You can't play a whole game looking for pickoffs. Roche up in... Woof. 1 more minute, confirmed. Drow looking to push the lanes out a little bit in anticipation of that, I think. They know it's soon, so they know they've got to start getting a little bit more map presence up. Ideally some wards around Roche, D-wards if they can get to it. As the Dire team rotate round, they manage to find Spoiler Alert, and that'll be a very quick kill. Does pop BKB, kinda silly, but at least he didn't black hole. Now, that is possibly the worst time for him to die that they could possibly have chosen, as Drow overtakes Zeus on the net worth chart. This is really a game of just be careful of Drow. Wow! Spook! 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 No! Spook, yeah, Spook dead. This is gonna be, well, the real damage here is this is without a doubt gonna be an Aegis for Vega, and Hehe are just throwing this game right now. Just random kills all across the board. Axe coming in now, totally unsupported, wants to take out the entire team. Getting a decent amount of damage down on that Tidehunter, but not enough to get the Cunning Blade off. And Roche will be up. Are they going to spot this? They do, they spot it spawn, and they're going to be taking that. Meanwhile, we've got Legion Commander trying to push top. But wow, this is big throws coming out from Hehe here. Still got big XP lead and a big gold lead. Rotating now to try and deal a bit of damage to this Legion Commander, who does manage to get the tower down to probably about 2/3 health. But who picked up the Aegis there? Drow Ranger. That's really dangerous. Their team is a team fight team, but they keep trying to take ridiculous kind of, where they're massively outnumbered fights. And I'm just not sure why they're doing it. Certainly in the right conditions, they can win fights like that. But not every fight. And they're being way too aggressive. Yaren the Slayer, perfect example here. Just rushing straight in and not choosing to retreat. I'm really not sure what's happening here. Did he realize that with the forced rotations there was just no chance? Because I would have thought he had at least a decent chance of making some headway there and getting out. Seemed to pop the BKB thinking that you'd either be able to get a quick duel off and survive on the lifesteal, or be able to make it out. But ended up trying neither, just a couple of quick right clicks. And I really don't know what to say about the sudden decrease in Hehe's skill level, other than that it is definitely giving us a closer mid and late game than I would have thought possible earlier. Visage getting so tanky now. And Undershock. Huge damage, DD rune, Mask of Madness. They just need a creep, and he can basically do the tower by himself. With the Visage Familiars there to provide a bit of damage there, easily enough to get past backdoor protection, and it's down. Meanwhile, HWA pulling the creep wave, so that's going to slow down the high ground push a little bit, and we've got a DC coming out from the Dazzle, so a quick pause. But wow, what a tense game. Let's have a quick look at the XP graph first of all. Yeah, it's really, really hurting Hehe. It's not just the fact that they're only 10,000 ahead here. That's of course a very significant lead. It's the fact that, you know, 10 minutes ago they were 25,000 ahead. And what does that mean about where they're going to be in 10 minutes? Doesn't look good. Does not look good. Gold graph, meanwhile, doing a similar kind of thing. And if we have a quick look at the items as well, see if there's anything huge come out since we last mentioned it. Huge number of blinks coming out on the Radiant team. So really, really light. We don't have a single one on the Vega team. But for as long as they're just playing like 1 versus 5, that's not going to be enough for Hehe to win these team fights. Zeus getting out of quite a nasty potential fight there, and Legion Commander will be back, so we'll be seeing a 5v5 fight for this high ground. Creep wave nuked down here by Radiant, and it looks like a lot of the Dire heroes are choosing to back off. Undershot could be in danger here if we can get a nice blink initiation in. But Hehe are now the ones playing on the defensive, and they don't want to leave their high ground either. And with this massive ganking party just waiting in the woods, it's fairly clear that that drow was just bait. Hehe rotating out of the base a little bit now on 2 lanes, securing themselves a little bit of farm, and Yaren the Slayer really is the playmaker here. If he can kill drow, they can push down a Rax. And that Aegis is going to have another 2.5 minutes. We're about halfway through its lifespan. So Hehe might be best, in fact, to try and play this safe, play this back, and let that Aegis just expire. I'm not sure if Vega are going to let them though, as Vega rotate into top lane. I think it'll be all 5 heroes heading there, and they're going to be looking to push down that final tower. Going for the familiars as well, and they do manage to catch a call, which is going to kill every single familiar. 300 gold for Axe, and that's totally shut down the split push for the Dire. Visage will be able to resummon in about 30 seconds. Not hugely quick though, and Hehe have been being pretty mercenary when it comes to their tier 2 towers in the previous games of this series. They may well choose to just let this one go down and concentrate on farming the carries and being ready to defend tier 3. Cancel the TP out from the Zeus. Nope, never mind, it was just some kind of glitch. It was actually TPing over to the tier 3. And again, you know, it's 43 minutes in, and I'm going to say it, I've yet to see the black hole. I think we've seen 1 or 2, and they weren't black holes I liked. That will win them the game. Black hole is exactly the kind of lockdown you need to finish up a Drow Ranger. And that Aegis expiring in just over a minute. Very, very hard to know where the next action is going to pop off right now. Enigma's just farming the jungle quietly. Zeus seems to be doing the same thing at the Ancients as soon as they spawn. Visage familiars back, split pushing on the mid lane, and Dire grouping up on bottom. Not entirely sure why. Not sure what the big plan for them is on the bottom. And given that Aegis is about to expire, I would have expected them to be a degree more aggressive. Quick pause coming out from Axe on the Hehe side.
Well, that would be a tribute.
And yeah, it does just seem like the team's kind of just in the area. Neither team wants to split up and farm, neither team wants to group up and push. Okay, we do have vision now. Radiant know where the Dire are, and they're sending over the other Necro unit as well. Oh, sorry, that's not a Necro unit, that's a Legion Commander illusion. Sending her in to scout out. Nice AAO, gonna land on only 1, but it was still nice. And it looks like Radiant might actually be trying a high ground push here. They've got all their ults up by the AA, and maybe this is time. I think they're realizing that they probably not a good idea to put a gamble on taking this Drow Ranger late game. Already level 23, Legion Commander way behind when it comes to the farm. Moving up onto the high ground now as the creeps are moving in. There's a blink initiation from Legion Commander. And the Aegis, of course, will be down. Wind Ranger is finished off. Tide, desperate to try and find a good opportunity for Ravage. Does manage to get it. Catches 3 overall. Zeus has already popped his ult. Enigma finished off in the meantime. Axe, really the last Radiant hero, really in this hard. And Drow coming in to finish up. More action as Wind Ranger is chasing down Spook. So 1 for 3. Radiant really struggling to push down this final tier 3. So Hehe really throwing this game. I had that mentioned in the chat. Just noticed it, and it's huge. They had such a big lead and such a great combo as well, and they just stopped using it for no reason that I can see. They gave a couple away kills. They gave away a couple of kills, which honestly looked like kind of 2K newbies playing it. And this is Hehe, who I love. Yeah, I'm not trying to have a go at them. They're a great team. Love them. But what on earth is going on? Enigma forced to buy back here, still with 2-minute cooldown on Black Hole. Unlikely to be able to make a huge impact in this next team fight, whatever happens. And almost certainly this will be the first Rax of the game. AA spawns, sends out his ult. They do manage to get a decent amount of secure down on this Visage, but it will be a big mistake to think that means that they can go in after it. Yaren the Slayer already brought down to half health just by ranged harass from this dire team, and HWA possibly caught out. Oh no, lag, not now, please. Yaren the Slayer goes for the duel on no one. We do have the shallow grave though, and it's a win for Wind Ranger. I think that might be the first loss we've seen on Legion Commander in a duel. Buyback immediately, and Axe straight in the business, gets a slam down on the Wind Ranger, tied dead as well, and Hehe lost in terms of kills, had to buy back.
Dire's top tower is under
But
attack.
possibly now, let's have a quick look at the buyback status on Wind Ranger and Tide. Tide, no. Wind Ranger, no. They might have a chance at Rax themselves here. Excellent play. And we see Hua up on the top lane, going to be making sure they get a tier 3 regardless. This is excellent play. This is Hehe suddenly turning it round. And while it might really be a case of Vega maybe should have done a bit more of an effort to make sure they had buybacks, whatever you want to call it. That's another dunk for Axe. Whatever you want to call it, Hehe looked like they might have a chance at this game after all. The Rax are taking a huge amount of damage as we see Drow going in and finished off. Drow's unstoppable streak finished by Axe. 650 gold hit by the illusion stuns. Illusions. Hate those things, familiar stuns. But the rest of the Dire team forced into a whole buyback chain and just chased back onto the high ground. Buyback from Drow though is going to spell the end of HWA pretty much definitely. And there's a gem on the ground there as well for whichever team wants to grab it. We have had mid racks go down, top racks go down, and bot racks go down. Mega creeps for the Dire. Who would have expected this 3 minutes ago? Not me. Wasn't that it was impossible. It was just Hehe had been playing so, I'm going to say it, so poorly. And just there, for the instant where it was needed, we saw them play proper Hehe again. And while I don't think I've ever cast a professional game where the team has come back from megas. Admittedly though, if Vega can A, get this Axe kill with a BKB on Drow to block the blade mail damage, they are going to kill this Axe. Easy kill. If they can get that and possibly this next Aegis, then I might say that we might see my first mega, against mega creep victory. But I'm not counting on it. Not counting on it. Not at all. Dire are teaming up to go down the mid though. Let's have another quick look at. I might just leave buyback up, to be honest. Everyone's farmed. You know that. No, I won't. Nobody has buyback. Nobody has buyback. Zeus, it's just a matter of gold. Tide, it's just a matter of gold. Everybody else, it's cooldown. And the black hole! The black hole comes down with just Tide and Dazzle left outside. The entire Dire team is looking hugely low. Drow kept alive by Shallow Grave is going to mean that it's not the end for Vega yet. As the Ravage finally comes in, catches Spook, catches Hua. But with a BKB on this Drow, Hua can do nothing. Oh, but she's getting low. Does Zeus have his ult? He does not. He needs that. What's this TP, Zeus? TP's back to base. Spook. And there it is. I wasn't watching the Dire base, but those beautiful, beautiful mega creeps finished the game in I won't call it record time, but certainly the best counter comeback I've ever seen. I really thought that Vega had secured it for themselves after a very early win from Hehe there, and I'm sorry, but I called it. The thing that made that game was the black hole. When it happened, it was just absolutely insane. Overall, though, gotta say Vega probably played better. If I had to say who deserved the win, and this is a Hehe fan, I'd probably say Vega. But c'est la vie. That's the way it goes. I'm not going to say I'm unhappy, and it'll be Hehe versus X game up in the next round of the playoffs. Thanks very much everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was fun. I'll try and catch the next Hehe X game as well. It should be coming up in the next few days. Keep an eye on the Join Dota site, and please do give a follow or subscribe as well, as it really helps me do what I'm doing and get into bigger and better tournaments. But for now, well done to both teams, and I hope you have good games yourselves. Cheers.